Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the Benelux Speedrunner gathering. I am Arg, I'm going to be taking you away with the hosting duties for the next 3 runs. And we've got ourselves a couple of corkers coming up, it's going to be great. Just so you know, we organize bi-monthly gatherings in the Benelux region for speedrunners. Due to the situation surrounding COVID-19 right now, we're currently doing these events from our homes. We're doing them online for the time being. That means this event features streamers from both the Benelux region and the rest of the world, bringing you entertainment during lockdown here. And now it is time for a Final Fantasy 1 race with the ever-amazing Boxmeister and Crrool. Take it away, folks.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. I'm Crrool. Joining me is Boxmeister. I think we'll get right into it, but before we do, we are going to quickly go over the name incentives. Confirm that all 4 of these names are still correct.
I will do a quick refresh here. Our Black Mage name is still Joseph. Our Thief's name is still Bagu. Our Warrior's name is still Error. And I do believe that Bunger is our White Mage name as well. Yes, it looks like we are all good. So we are set off with our names now.
Okay.
All right. Then I think we can get the run started. Box, are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. There's something hiding in pending here. What is this? When did this come in? I cannot see it. This is interesting. We have a White Mage name that is sitting with nothing, but it's called Lava Boost. It's because it's 9 characters, that's why. Ignore me, it's fine, let's go.
I mean, hereby we're closing off the incentive.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
First minute is gonna be intense, so we'll explain afterwards.
Yeah, the first minute's like one of the hardest in the entire game. All right, now that that part is over, let us quickly explain what's going on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Final Fantasy. So the first part of the game is now, or the most important part of this game so far is now done. We are done with the opening menu. Final Fantasy 1 for the PSP is a little bit broken, as it is possible for us to glitch items that we're really not supposed to have. So what we did just now is we bought a hammer, and using that hammer, and I gotta make sure I say this correctly. With that hammer, basically what I do is I try to equip that to a character on the weapon slot, and then on the same frame that I do that, I switch to another character where we have the
Glove slot.
have an armor slot selected. What that does in this game is it causes the game to be a bit confused, and it loads in the equipment that it's trying to equip, in this case the hammer, but it loads it in on an armor slot and therefore giving us the armor item with the exact same ID, which is the Knight's Armor, which is one of the most powerful pieces of armor in the game. You're not supposed to be able to get this for a little bit, and it's supposed to be very expensive when you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do the same glitch all over here with the leather cap. But this time the other way around to get the Judgment Staff, which is the most powerful staff in the game. And now we are level 1, we are like 2 minutes in, and we are completely stacked, equipment-wise.
Yes. I'm on the Judgment Staff menu.
Nice.
Just finished it, so on my way
About to start my Garland fight. So this is the first boss of the game. This is Garland. We're gonna boop him on the nose, and he's gonna die as a result.
Okay, I've got good rolls.
There we go. We booped him on the nose. Easy every time.
3 hits for me.
That was 4 hits for me, but... So yeah, as you can see, this is a little bit broken right here. Final Fantasy 1, you can only do this in the PSP version, easily making it one of the most broken versions of this game. Barring any potential glitches they're going to be finding in the Pixel remaster that just released, because they're already tearing that game apart. We're going to upgrade our equipment at some point, but for now this'll suffice. We're going to get the loot, that's for later on in the game, and then we're just going to move on.
Yeah. So far, this version of the game, we have this overpowered equipment glitch, but we're not skipping anything on our way throughout the game. So it's not that we're skipping bosses we're supposed to do. It's not that we're glitching our way through walls or something. It's just that we have overpowered equipment, which means that we don't have to constantly grind our levels up in order to be able to defeat our enemies. In fact, most of our power is obtained through the items that we equip.
Yeah, at the end of the game, we're going to be like, with our highest level characters, like probably under level 25.
Yeah, level 22, 23 is what you commonly see.
Yeah, if you have bad luck, it can be 24, maybe 25, but above that is very rare.
I've never seen 25, honestly.
I wish I could say the same. I think the highest I've ever had is 26, even. Let's just say we're not going to talk about that run, though.
Yeah, it's really dependent on the encounters, encounter RNG you get, because we can't manipulate where we're gonna get encounters. We also can't manipulate what encounters we get. And aside of that, you can also get normal encounters. Normally, you can get ambushed or you can get preemptive strikes. Preemptive strikes means that you get an entire round of turns before the enemy does, which basically means you can run away freely. Ambush means that the enemies get an entire turn before you do.
Just as you said, or just as you started on the ambush, I got an 8 encounter ambush.
Yeah, well, that's FF1 for you.
So yeah, this is why leads are never going to really matter for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't run either.
Yeah, I got several for encounter mixed and for enemies mixed encounters here, so it's interesting. Very colorful palette.
Yeah, it was literally the first tile of the forest. I get that as an ambush.
We were doing a bingo race, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the bigger goals is actually to get 4 different enemies in a single encounter.
Box, care to explain the story here?
Definitely. We are playing as the 4 warriors of light, and the 4 warriors of light each have a piece of an elemental crystal, and their quest is to restore the crystals back to the form of glory, because crystals got corrupted, which means that the elements are out of order. The only problem is we can't reach any of the places where the crystals are located, because we need a ship. However, I've just defeated the pirates actually using the Judgment Stave.
Yeah, so the secondary effect of the Judgment Staff is that if you use it as an item in battle, you'll be able to cast Flare, which is like the most powerful black magic spell in the game. Mm-hmm. Only downside is the animation is a little lengthy.
Yeah. So...
Anyway, Box, you were talking about what we need to do here.
Yeah, we got the ship, but unfortunately we're in a landlocked ocean. However, some dwarves are actually working on opening a passage into the greater sea outside. But for that they need nitro powder. Nitro powder is located in the dungeon of the first castle we visited, in the town of Cornelia. However, the king does not give it to us, so we need another way to open the door in the castle. So for that we would need the Mr. Key. Mr. Key is in the possession of an elven prince, but he has been under the effects of a curse and is deeply asleep, so we need a way to wake him up. A witch has potion to wake him up, but she lost her eye. Luckily, there is a character that has a crystal eye, so she can see again. But to be able to properly interact with the character, we need to obtain a crystal crown. So basically, enormous fetch quest. This game has a very objective-based story.
Yeah, for the next 20 minutes or so, we're basically going to be sent from object to object, collecting everything we need in order to get to the first crystal in the first place.
Yeah, for those of you that have seen Final Fantasy II earlier this week, Final Fantasy II has a very fleshed out story with characters being like, oh no, my poor brother is in distress, blah blah. This game doesn't have that level of story. It's more like, oh, you have to do this, but in order to do this, you need this and this and this. So that's it's very basic, but that's what you can expect from a 25-year-old game. So, or even older, actually, 35 years by now. Yeah, this game is quite old.
I am getting really unlucky in, or on my way to.
I'm
the Pisco Demons. I got 3 gargoyles that wouldn't let me run.
I'm in Marsh Cave now, so...
yeah, same.
I actually got a good bat movement, so I could use the slightly faster route. Let's go! But yeah, this... in this dungeon, the crowd is located, but right in front of it, there's something that's known as a spike tile. And spike tiles, whenever you step on them, they always give you a group of enemy encounter. And in this case, it's the Pisco Demons. Pisco Demons are the first of several unrunnable enemies we encounter in this game. You can't run away from this encounter. So whenever you encounter Pisco Demons, you can't run away, you have to defeat them.
Alright, I finally made it to the Pisco Demons.
I have just obtained the crown, so...
Yeah, I got like 3 encounters. One wouldn't let me run, one was an ambush. The third one I ran fairly easily.
No, also what you see in this cave is the first instance of bad NPCs moving into the way. Let me tell you, that's quite annoying.
And now that we have the crown, we can go to the next bit of our fetch quest, which is to deliver the crown to Astos, who will then fight us in order for us to get the Mystic Eye.
Crystal Eye.
And this just basically means we have to walk out of the dungeon again. We then walk over to the castle where he resides, and then we get to do a quick little battle because our equipment is still overpowered. Now, at some point in this entire sequence, you may have noticed that we did actually heal our characters, or at least I assume Box did as well.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Now, for later on in the run, we actually want specifically our warrior and our thief to end below a certain amount of HP, so that we can kill them off much easier when we are going to be grinding, because effectively we only need to grind out the mages. The warrior and thief are good enough with just equipment. That kind of that's enough. So we kind of heal here, and the general idea is that usually you then do not actually have to heal at any other point until we get to that grinding sequence. And then after the grinding sequence, it's easy to just keep them at full health, and it doesn't really matter as much anymore.
Okay, made it to the Western Keep.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
So Astos is an interesting fight. We use the judgment staffs physically with the thief and the warrior, but we use the flare spell with the mages. That should do enough damage. Astos can, however, kill one of our characters if he chooses to cast Death. If he casts Death, I prefer it to be on the warrior, actually. Oh, he does a physical attack, even better.
I'm now starting the fight as well, so...
So all my characters will live.
Same here. Physical attack on the warrior, so...
My warrior did 13 damage with his judgment staff hits. Wow.
Mine did 86. So an interesting thing to note as well, in terms of stats, whenever we level up, on every stat, we either get the max increase or the minimum increase, and there's nothing in between.
I got a beautiful sword.
That's especially going to be the case for HP later on. When we level up, we either get the max HP increase or the minimum HP increase, and that is going to matter for the final boss of the game. All right, Astos is down, which now means we can go and get, or we can go to the Witch Matoya and get the Jolt Tonic to wake up the Elven Prince.
My thief has 130 HP, what the hell?
Who has it?
My thief has 130 HP, what the hell? That's really high.
Mine has 142.
That's also high.
Ridiculous.
That's really high.
That really is high, yeah. So yeah, the path to Matoya is kind of the last really annoying bit, because this is we've gotten really good equipment, but we still haven't really gotten anything that'll make it easier for us to run away from enemies. And once we get the Mystic Key, we can finally get an item to help us with that.
Mm-hmm.
So then this brutally slow trying to run away from enemies won't be as brutally slow anymore.
I had a ambush by wolves, always fun.
Oh, those suck, yeah.
I had 4 wolves, luckily, so it wasn't too bad. You can have 8 or 9 wolves. But
speaking of, I just got an ambush with 4 wolves.
Oh, hey, you got the same one. I'm almost at Matoya's cave, and in Matoya's cave, the biggest enemy you encounter is the brooms.
I'm almost at my ship. It's
I'm one boat ride further, actually.
Yeah, the encounters have not been very kind here.
Also, this, like mentioned before, this lead is meaningless until the game is finished.
Yeah, there is about a bazillion places where this game can decide to change the lead between the two of us, and that's completely RNG. One of the things about this run's actually really easy to learn. Like, you can learn Final Fantasy in a day. Box can confirm because he learned it in a day.
I actually did.
But, getting a really good time is very, very heavily dependent on RNG. There is a decent amount of, execution in the movement and doing your menus well, but from there on, it is just a matter of, do you get the encounter luck you need? So here I am clearly not getting that luck because I'm getting encounters every 4 steps, and there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, it's and even when we get better items to run away from enemies, the amount of encounters can still vary between the two of us, and the amount of unrunnables we get, because the moment you get unrunnables, you have to deal with them, and that will cost you time.
I think between docking the ship and getting to Matoya's cave, I got 6 encounters or 7. So, yeah, that just goes to show. Like, I've had that on several occasions be 0.
Dude, for back and forth to Matoya's cave, I got no encounters on the sea.
Ouch,
that was very lucky. So I'm at the Elven Castle, so I'm about to get that Mystic Key. Once I get the Mystic Key, I'll re-enter the castle to pick up an item to do an equipment glitch to equip Thieves' Armlet on all of our characters, on all of our armor slots actually. So both helmets as well as armor as gloves. And that'll increase our agility and defense, so we can more easily run away from encounters and have high defenses, which is nice. Physical defenses, I should say.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm actually at the key. It's,
oh boy.
It's a journey.
Oh god, I got the Mithril sword from Astos earlier, so I actually have to be careful with my equipment glitch, because there's an extra item on the top. Although, luckily, my white mage can't equip the mithril sword, so that part of the equipment glitch is slightly faster.
All right, I finally get to the Elven Castle as well now.
I'm about to buy the golden needles, which is a safety item for one dungeon coming up not too long from now, actually. But first we're gonna get to Castle Cornelia to get the nitro powder. Thereby being almost finished with our fetch quest. Which are exciting times. And once we're out of this landlocked ocean, the routes also start to diverge a little bit in terms of equipment. Because I use a different route from Crrool. I'll be later in the run. I'll be equipping my white mage to deal with unrunnable enemy groups using the elemental items instead of the judgment staffs, and what that does for me is the items have faster, shorter animations. That's the word I was looking for. And so that means that for every unrunnable, if we get both the same amount of unrunnables, I would save time on that. Now that does cost me a little bit of time. So if you get good encounter RNG, then what Crrool is doing is actually faster, because he'll be going full physical attack and judgment staves on his characters. Well, we'll see that in a bit more detail.
Yeah, this is one of the fun things with Final Fantasy 1, in that there are, like, the route that Box does is way more consistent than mine, but there are multiple routes that are viable for getting really solid times. Now, I do believe that very recently there was an even newer route that's either being worked on or has just been...
It has been run, and they actually are on the doorstep of the sub 120.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane. When I started running this, the benchmark for a good time was a 150. So over time, that like back then the world record was like 137. And like anything under 150 was considered a decent time, and that's gradually gone down due to many different route changes to the 130-ish, then 125-ish, where it stuck for quite a long time, and then down to like the lower 120s, and now that even seems to be broken as well.
Yeah, it's insane. The last couple of months, they really pushed the time down. What they do, what we'll be doing in this run is we'll be getting a class change to get some better spells. The newer route skips that class change, so the only big RNG swinger they get is Chaos, basically. The final boss.
The class change kind of got introduced as a way of mitigating the fact that you don't grind as much, because in a very old route we used to grind the white mages to level 33, and we didn't do class change either. But then they kind of figured out a way of not needing to grind as much, but you do that optional dungeon to kind of mitigate that, which actually is faster by a good bit. And then now seeing them try and figure out how to skip that again is interesting.
Well, they managed to figure out how to skip it, but it just comes at a great risk. That's the big part. It's a riskier route, specifically at the end. So
yeah,
it's all down to Chaos at that point. which for our race is going to be the same thing, because Chaos is by no means free. Oh.
Okay, I just blew up the canal. I assume Box already did as well, but
I am buying the steel gloves and glitching, amongst others, barbarian swords, but also a mage staff.
Yeah, so I quickly want to mention what the barbarian sword is here. So the barbarian sword is a PSP exclusive weapon, and to kind of give an idea of how powerful that sword is. Now, I'm gonna take Excalibur as an example. You know, fairly well-known sword, pretty powerful.
Also in this game.
Also in this game. The Barbarian Sword's power is about 3 times as high, and it gives you an additional 15 boost to your strength, making it ridiculously overpowered. You can normally only get it by fighting Chronodia at its most powerful form. Now, Chronodia is like the bonus dungeon super boss of the game, and it comes in multiple different forms, gradually becoming more and more powerful. And we're just like, yeah, we can now get that item super early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you'll see Crrool do, he will glitch the Barbarian Sword on all of his party members. I have only glitched it on my Thief and Warrior. They'll be my physical damage dealers for most of the run. It's only at Chaos that I also prepare the Black Mage. And the White Mage and the Black Mage I will equip differently, but I'll do that after this dungeon. And the Mage Staff is one of those items. If you use the Mage Staff, it'll cast Fyra, which is good for dealing with undead enemies and earth elemental like enemies.
Yeah, so this is the Cavern of Earth. This is one of those dungeons that can completely swing things one way or another again. We're going to have to go all the way down to floor 3, to the end of floor 3, beat a mini-boss there, then walk all the way out to do a bit of a side quest, and then we go all the way back in again, but then all the way down to floor 5, and that's where we're going to get the first crystal of the game.
I'm saving at the start of floor 3 because I got destroyed by encounters on the way to floor 3. But yeah, this floor 3 is dangerous because it has items, enemies such as cockatrices, which can petrify your party members, and if all 4 of your party members get petrified, it's a game over. It also has undead enemies that can paralyze your party members, and if you get fully paralyzed, then well, you're losing a lot of time, at the very least. Oh, I also have Pisco Demons, so remember what I mentioned about them being unrunnable? Yeah, this is fun. Since I already de-equipped 2 party members in terms of Judgment Staff, and I switched my mages to the Judgment Staff in my inventory, because due to the way I manipulate my inventory, the items that cast elemental spells will appear close to Judgment Staff, which allows me to switch efficiently in combat.
So right here at the end of the floor, this is where we're going to fight a mini-boss. This is the Vampire.
Oh, you're also at Vampire.
Nice. Yeah, so Vampire, yeah, like I said, this is Vampire, and then we boop him, and that was the Vampire. That's the entire battle.
Don't forget the Star Ruby. If you
I wasn't planning on it.
If you forget the Star Ruby, that's the most painful time loss I can imagine in this game. Aside from
there are like 2 or 3 places where you can lose a lot of time due to forgetting something. This one is very high up there. The other big one is forgetting to learn Lufenian.
Or forgetting the Levy Stone.
Oh yeah, or forgetting the Levy Stone. That's another one. Okay, so the bat here being in my hallway, that's a little annoying. Out of curiosity, I don't know if you have splits up, but what was your vampire time?
26:07.
Okay, so only 7 seconds apart. I just got the 1 in 64 ochre jelly, so my run is now blessed, and it'll now be godlike.
Yeah, don't say those things. The game can hear you.
Yeah, so some encounters are super rare. That brown encounter you saw on my screen just now, that's the rarest encounter in this dungeon. At only 1 in 64 odds on that floor. It used to be my good luck charm, and now my warrior is dead. Okay.
Oh, your warrior is not supposed to be dead yet.
No, it's a little early for that. Some troll crit me for 20-something damage.
Of course it's the trolls.
Of course.
I'm outside of the Cavern of Earth. What we could have done potentially once we've obtained the chip, was do the so-called 16 puzzle, which is a sliding puzzle, and if you clear that within a certain amount of time, you have a 1 in 6 chance to obtain an emergency exit, and the emergency exit immediately teleports you out. So it costs you a minute to do the puzzle, I think.
If you do it optimal, it loses about 45 seconds to do. And it can save on average 2 minutes, but it's only a 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah, it's not consistent. But it is something you can potentially do, and that way you don't have to walk painfully out of Kevin and Vert as the both of us are doing now. And I see I'm ever so slightly ahead of you, but you're right behind me. So
Nice.
I have the stream open as well, so I can actually see how we're doing.
Yeah, so what we need to do is basically at the end of floor 3, there's a stone slab on top of the stairs that we can't get rid of. So we need to travel all the way over here to get the earth rod. And the earth rod will then allow us to travel deeper into the dungeon. That's the general idea here.
I got 2 shadow ambushes so far, so how's your day going?
I mean, I got a shadow preemptive on the way to earth rod, but I'm about to get the earth rod.
I'm also about to get the earth rod.
So yeah, generally, anything sub 30 on earth rod means your pace is decent, especially for a marathon setting, so...
29-24 earth rod.
29-24 as well. Tied on earth rod.
Yeah, that's... I was a good bit ahead of Crrool earlier, and he caught up. So that's how
this
things
is why
go.
we say Final Fantasy, it's not done for a while.
There's no clear favorite for this race, because it can go either way, really.
Yeah, we've raced each other quite a few times. We both have won from each other. Box's PB is slightly better than mine. I think I generally have won most of the races between Box and me, but we'll see. But yeah, we're now going to go back to the Earth Cave and then travel all the way down to floor 5. So I think, Argig, if you want to say something, this might be a fantastic opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, we have a €5 donation from 5. And they say, hey all, I can't believe it's been 2 years since I attended BSG Annual 2019. I was honored to spend a week at that event with both the amazing Crrool and Boxmeister. You were both so welcoming and supportive, and that event will always hold a special place for me, as it is where I ran my first speed run at a marathon. Best of luck both on the amazing Final Fantasy run. I do hope to be able to see you both again next year at BSG Annual 2022. Oh, and you should go to Arg. It's an amazing event. Cheers. And you are right, it is something that I was hoping to do as well. This year we were all aiming for annual in person, but alas, make sure you keep enjoying online here. And of course, please do keep your donations coming in. We're at 3,720. Can we get that up to 3,800 by the end of this run? It'd be great to see a €5 donation drink, because it's not dollars, for every encounter that we get coming in, you know? $5 encounter, $5 more encounter.
That is going to be quite the train of donations at that point. I think an average run has like 170 encounters. So
do we really want to bankrupt our audience?
Well, if everybody's one carriage on the train, that's one encounter each. That's €5. Then nobody's bankrupt. You see?
I got my first cockatrice encounter, so let's talk about that.
Yes, go ahead.
I mentioned it before. They can petrify. I got the Okajelly's tarantulas, so, hey. No, don't go into the hallway, Pat. Bad. Okay, yeah, I bought gold needles earlier in Elfheim. And gold needles are definitely a well-needed safety item for marathon races. In PB attempts, I would skip the gold needles, actually. And obviously I encounter cockatrices just as I say it, so...
Yeah.
They can hear me.
Yeah, cockatrices are the first scary encounter. So there's a few scary encounters in the entire run. Most enemies can't really do that much. The biggest scary things are usually the ones that can either instant kill you or early on have really powerful magic attacks, as our magic defense is still relatively low. This is also true for the first major boss of the game. We've had some smaller boss fights so far, but we are about to come up on the first really big boss, the Lich. This is the first guardian of sorts of one of the crystals, and I imagine we're both going to be saving before this because this guy has Blizzara, which is a super powerful ice spell.
You pulled ahead of me. I had a wolf ambush.
I see. Yeah, I'm now interacting with the Lich. So this fight can be really, really fast. This fight can also be really, really dumb.
Crrool has a safer setup for the Lich though, because he has 4 party members with the Barbarian Sword. I have only 2. And those 2 have to hit 1250, about 1200 HP together. So I need a little bit of luck. Crrool also needs some luck, but substantially less. Substantially less.
Yeah, luckily I got it. He didn't even get an attack off. So now we get like a 45-second animation where we see a bonus dungeon open up.
I'm saving before Lich right now.
In this case, it is the Earth Gift Shrine. We're not going to visit any of these dungeons. We really only do in all dungeons, all bosses, or full bestiary.
All bosses, we run that as well.
Yeah, we both run all bosses.
In fact, I think we're still the top 2 as of right now.
I know I'm still first place, so I wouldn't be surprised.
634, that's a good one. Second one, also good. No problems with Lich.
Good. That's the first and one of the only scary bosses out of the way.
Yeah.
Now that we have the Earth Crystal, we can go and pick up the canoe, which basically opens up a lot of other locations in the map. We're kind of going to do all of the other quests that we need to do real quick, and then we're going to collect the remaining 3 crystals. Yeah. So we're going to get to Crescent Island, get the canoe. From there, we can get the Levy Stone, which is also where we're going to grind to get the airship. We're going to get the glass upgrade, and then we're going to slowly start working our way towards the remaining 3 crystals.
You will see a somewhat different order of things once we're past the class upgrades, but we'll talk about that when we get there. we do things in a slightly different order. It's also it also has to do with the different routes. Thank God for the teleporter behind Lich.
Yeah, oh, if we had to walk out of that place as well, that would be awful.
Yeah. And I got my 3rd shadow ambush.
Oh wow. The game is not giving you any luck, is it?
These are rare, by the way, I should add. They're surprisingly common to get preemptives, which I'm getting now as well, by the way. Shadow ambush.
Yeah, I've now made it to Crescent Lake. We're gonna buy some ethers here for later on. I'm gonna buy a sword, I believe.
Fourth shadow ambush. Fourth shadow ambush. I'm buying some extra items in Crashing because I'll be glitching the Lust Daggers on my mages. Lust Daggers increase my agility, but also raise my intelligence, I think.
Yeah, so the Lust Dagger is another one of those items that it makes it slightly easier to run away. But, you know, the trade-off being that he couldn't get those extra barbarian swords, so...
To be fair, I don't need them on the mages for the part I'm doing. Lust Daggers, with the Lust Daggers, the mages are strong enough.
Yeah, true.
So it's really a trade-off, trade-off for the power that I don't need for agility, which I do need. Although I'm more worried for my black mage, actually. since he's still at 79 HP.
And mine are luckily both well over 100, so I'm not too worried about health right now.
My warrior is casually over 200 HP already, but...
Mine is almost at 200.
So question.
So yeah, the next dungeon that we're going to be going to is probably the deadliest dungeon in the game, the Ice Cavern. This next dungeon has just got a bunch of things that can kill your run. But to name a few, there is a 1 in 64 encounter, the White Dragon, that has a move, an AoE move, that basically kills our entire party in a single hit. There is the 3 in 64, the Dark Wizards. They have a fire move that can basically kill our entire party in one hit. The place is filled with undead enemies that can paralyze the entire party. There are cockatrices that we mentioned before already, but they are a thing here that can petrify your party members. And then there's also a few unrunnable encounters on top of that, just to make things harder to run away from. So chances are you'll see us save at least once, but probably several times as we do this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of, I got a 6th cockatrice ambush.
Oh, I got the 6 cockatrices several times in Earth Cave, but not the ambushes.
Yeah, I've so far 1 petrified party member.
I bought 11
We
gold.
ran away with 1 petrification.
I bought 11 gold needles.
Yeah, same.
I mean, you have plenty of money in this route, so buying them is really of no consequence.
Yeah, no, earlier on, after we equipped the Thief's Armlets, we had the 4 Knight's Armors that we could sell, and they sell for 18,000 gil each.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I sold them just now at Crescent Lake, and the reason I sell them there is because I actually sell my items in such a way that I set up my menu that all the elemental spell items are located next to each other. So that's convenient. That makes my menuing more efficient. As I'm rowing my boat gently down the stream in a sec. The canoe ride towards impending doom.
Alright, so earlier I mentioned that at some point in the run we want our health to be at a specific point. That point is coming up for me. The mini-boss of this dungeon is the one where we want to have everyone low health. Now, if I don't have that, there are some spiked tiles that you'll see in a moment. As in just tiles that actually have spikes, not the ones with the encounters. And I can use that to take some extra damage if I feel I need to. And Arctic, I believe you might want to say something. So, you know.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to say something.
It's funny because I've been asking you if I could say something and I've been muted the entire time. Oh,
oh man.
Well, there we go. Yes, thank you for doing that and making me realize. Guess what? Ark's been muted. Anywho, yes. So, we are going to start off. We have a €5 donation from Tiny Tim. It says, "Hey all, I'm a numpty and didn't put my name on that last one. So, here's another one to make up for it. Say it with my Arg. Oh no, cheers." Thank you, Tiny Tim. And now we also have a €275 donation from Osimo and Dutch J saying, "Hi friends, we love you, go fast." We love you too. Thank you very much for that amazingly generous donation. That puts us up, not at 3,800. No, that puts us up to €4,000 raised for Mind right now. Thank you very much. Everybody, please do keep your donations coming in. All 100% of them is benefiting Mind. And yeah, fantastic cause. Everybody, make sure to take care of your mental health. It's super important. And I am super proud of this community for doing this.
All the love
So,
back to Awesemo and Dutch Day, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, Box, I have a bit of a funny story here.
Did you fall
3
down?
tiles before falling down to Evil Eye, I ran into some cockatrices.
Oh no!
Guess what happened?
You got Oh snap! That's useful.
Yeah. So normally I'm supposed to kill off both my warrior and thief for this, so I can grind the 2 mages.
Oh,
Both of
that's
them
lucky.
just got petrified right before it, which is like really the only moment you would want them to get petrified.
That is precisely what you want. That is lucky.
Yeah, that's very lucky. So yeah, this is our grind encounter. We need our enemy, our 2 mages to end up hitting level 19 by the end of the next dungeon. So we grind to about level 18 and a half here.
Yeah, I'll also grind to that number. My route technically doesn't have to grind the mages as far. I need to be mindful here. Because this is Ice Giga's Windwolf, which is unrunnable. Because I'll go for safety. So plus I'll do things differently, but I'll explain a bit later. You will see. Are you kidding me? Is this happening? So, not too long before the Levystone, my thief got petrified. So,
Nice. That's
and my black mage got the level up, putting it over 100 HP. So that's exactly what I want.
So I am now done with the grind. I believe his box is entering the grind. Now, that doesn't have to say much. This grind is like 2 minutes. So that is, by the way, all of the level grinding we need to do in the entire game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's the first one. Level 12. Also, that's a split. And now I can just grind it out.
I just got blasted with a Faraga. Fun.
Oh, that's also a thing.
It was post-grind, so I lived, but... So yeah, that Faraga, you saw how much damage that did. Pre-grind, that is basically a wipe.
Oh, did you get the, whatchamacallit, dark...
Yeah, the Dark Wizards.
Oh, yeah, those... I've been wiped to those before. 15, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we walk our way out, and then once we're out, we can now go get the airship. And we're going to do the only optional dungeon in the entire run that we're going to be doing. Mainly because the class upgrade, as well as the items we get there, are so powerful that it's just worth doing. Specifically, one item we're going to be getting there are the Lordly Robes. Or, well, an item through which we can glitch the Lordly Robes. Which greatly increases the amount of health that our white mage will heal later on. So we're going to equip that towards the end to make sure that our white mage's healing is more than enough to compensate for the fact that we only have 1 healer on our party.
You'll see me glitch the Lordly Robes a little bit earlier, because I'll be making use of the elemental items with the white mage. So, now the good news, Crrool revived his warrior. I will not be reviving my warrior just yet, because in that way I can get more experience on the thief, and that can potentially allow the thief to learn haste as well, which is also the reason why I will be doing things in a slightly different order once we get the class change.
Yeah, after class change, our routes are going to diverge a bit, which is always fun to see. But then at some point they're going to converge again, and we'll see who really is ahead.
So, I got the white dragons in here as well, I should say. I defeated them, and there were 2 of them. Because I'm not gonna risk running away.
So yeah, the Citadel of Trials, there's 2 ways of traveling here. We can either take the airship, but the problem with the airship is it can only ever land on grass tiles. Or we can take the ship. Now the ship is technically a little bit faster by about 2 seconds, but the airship method saves about, I believe, 3.5 seconds on overworld movement later on, therefore ending up, on average, being ever so slightly faster. The differences are really small, and it's definitely been different in older routes where we used to use the boat because that was faster to get here. Until we realized that airship would make for easier overworld movement.
Also, you don't get encounters in the airship.
Yeah, on the airship itself you don't, but on the with the boat you can dock it much closer to the Citadel.
Yeah, that's also a difference.
So yeah, teleporter maze here, very easy way of remembering. If you have multiple options, it is always the bottom one.
Did you take your sandworm safety save earlier?
Yes.
I should explain that because I'm about to get the airship and get there. In the desert, you have to cross after landing the airship. Do you have a chance to encounter a sandworm? And if you get ambushed by that, and if the sandworm uses earthquake, it can wipe your party, which has decided races in the past.
Yeah, this has happened on record, I believe, 3 times that I'm aware of, at least. One of which was in the, I want to say, semi-finals or finals of the first Final Fantasy tournament. And that ended up deciding the race.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that this can decide a race. Because right after Caravan of Ice, we're more or less in the safe part of the run, I'd like to call it.
Yes, absolutely. At this point, really the only thing that should kill us are instant death things, which are fairly rare.
Mm-hmm. Every time I'm looking at the menu screen, I'm like, why are all the characters in the front row? Because of the whole Final Fantasy 2 thing with Rose, which you don't have in Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, so that's actually kind of an interesting thing to touch upon. In Final Fantasy 1, the way that front row and back row works is just the order that your party is at. The first character in your party, so in our case, the warrior, has a 50% chance of being hit. The second is at 25%, and the other 2 are at about 12.5%.
Speaking of sandworms, I encountered one. I did save beforehand, though, because
nice.
I respect the safety save there.
Yeah, it's the rarest thing to die to in this run, but it's one of those kind of places where it's like, you shouldn't really die there, but then it has happened and it can happen, and we're just going to respect that possibility.
I also encountered basilisks, which can petrify you. Also a danger, but they're not as dangerous as cockatrices because usually they don't appear in large numbers. Though they can petrify.
I'm getting a little bit trolled on the last floor of the.
The last floor is a bit infamous, if you ask me. That one is stacked with the encounters usually. Oh, I got the Minotaur zombies. Oh, that's lovely. Let's see. I still have the mages on the judgment staves because I don't have the lordly robes equipped yet. The white mage is actually not strong enough yet to defeat Minotaur zombies using the mage staff. Should have used the black mage. Oh well, it's fine. Minotaur zombies are also unrunnable, but we will be able to deal with them much better, at a later point. My thief has 211 HP already, so that's good.
So yeah, I am now working my way back to the airship, and this is where we're going to do the class change. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to take the rat's tail that we found in the citadel, and we're going to show that to Bahamut, and that's going to give us a class upgrade. So our warrior is going to become a knight, our thief will become a ninja, and the mages will become wizards. And that allows us to get slightly more powerful spells with the wizards. It allows us to, or it gives us a bit of a stat upgrade, which is really nice. The warrior and thief, though we're not really going to use that in this run, Box might with the ninja. They're going to get the ability to learn some spells. The knight can learn some basic white magic, where the ninja can learn some basic black magic.
Yeah, what you'll be seeing on Crrool's end in a bit, he will buy the spells and go to Mount Gulk, which is the fire element, fire crystal dungeon. I'll be going actually to buy the fairy bottle and get the oxygel first, which you'll need to get into the water elemental crystal dungeon before going to Mount Gulk, and I'll be buying the spells afterwards. And in doing so, I hope that my thief actually will be powerful and has a high enough level at that point to actually buy the haste spell. Which is why I put off on buying spells for a little bit. It's just ever so slightly more optimal, and if I get haste on the ninja, that will save me time on the final boss, actually. Because at that moment I can do haste with 2 characters, which allows my setup to be completed much earlier.
Ignore my terrible directions in flying there. I kind of went the wrong way briefly, but that's okay.
To be fair, that's also a thing I struggle with when I haven't played it for a really long time.
Yeah, so the last time we actively played this for both of us, it's been a little bit. For me, that was the BSG Lustrum, which was like 4 months ago. No, more. 6 months ago. So... but luckily, on the airship, you can't actually get encounters, so getting lost there doesn't usually lose more than a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I did some practice runs in the past couple of weeks, so the movement is, and the movement is also. I have also very good movement cues for FF1. So in general, movement shouldn't be the issue. I'm receiving the class upgrade as we speak.
Nice, nice. I just entered Mount Gulk. So Mount Gulk is a really interesting dungeon in that there's a bunch of lava tiles, and every time you take a step on a lava tile, you take 1 point of damage with every character. But on lava tiles, you cannot actually get random encounters. So as a result, you'll generally see us walking on these lava tiles as much as we can, to just try and avoid as many encounters as we can. As a result of that, though, our health can drop quite low, so it is important for us to just keep healing somewhat regularly throughout the dungeon. And this is also where we're going to get the second crystal. This is where the fire crystal is going to be at.
Yeah, I'm making my way to the desert caravan.
Yeah, so at this point you can't really compare the routes between Box and me for a little bit, because he's doing things that I haven't done, and I have done things that he hasn't done.
Yeah, basically after Mount Gulk we switch places. So I'll be at the Desert Caravan, I'll be buying the Fairy Bottle, but I'll also be buying the Giant Tonics, which are a safety item for the final boss. Because they increase your health, and health increases temporarily. And those health increases might become very important on the Chaos fight. Especially as some characters may not be at the exactly safe amount of hit points.
So yeah, this was Merilith, the second major boss in the game. In all bosses, it's actually possible to one-shot that. Because a crit from the ninja at a very high amount of damage can one-shot that. In any percent, you won't generally see that at all, but I've seen it a few times before in all bosses and full bestiary.
Got my Oxyl. So, Mount Gould. We're almost there.
I got an encounterless Mount Gulk. That's not that rare, but
Bullshit. That's incredibly rare.
really, I never feel like I rarely feel like I get more than like 1 or 2 encounters anyway. So, and I've had encounterless a fair few times.
I've raced many races. I have only seen it a handful of times. It's really rare.
Fair enough.
The encounterless Mount Gould, jeez, that's so good to have because means you're not in danger at all.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, of all the dungeons that you go through, it's probably the most likely for you not to really get an encounter. But
okay.
So yeah, now I'm doing all of the stuff that Box did earlier with getting the Oxy Ale and whatnot. This is because the next dungeon that we're going to do is going to be the water dungeon. You always have to get into the water dungeon before you can get to the air dungeon, as a result of the Rosetta Stone, which is located inside of the water dungeon. So in previous versions of the route, it has been the case that Mount Gulg was after Tiamat, so Mount Gulg was the last crystal. But you will always, in every version of the route, see the water crystal and then the wind crystal. And then Earth is always going to be first.
I almost royally messed up because I saw 2 Ogre Mages and I was like, oh, I can run away for this. But it's the Ogre Mages Hellhounds encountered without the Hellhounds.
Yeah, that's a scary one.
And I had 3 characters. I had 2 Ogre Mages and I had 3 characters at 1 HP. So luckily,
yeah.
I'm tempted to run away. Luckily, one of them missed, so I survived.
Yeah, that can be very scary.
Stupid mistake. Don't trust Ogre Mages, single Ogre Mages in Mount Gulg.
Alright, so here in Onrak, we can get to the water dungeon, the Sunken Shrine. The Sunken Shrine is home to the most unrunnable encounters in the entire, of any dungeon in the entire game. This is also where the route differences that Box and me have can make a big difference. If we get a lot of unrunnable encounters here, Box can save a lot of time here. If one of us gets a lot of unrunnables, that's very unfortunate for the person that gets them. If neither of us get many unrunnables, then my route will win out on this dungeon.
Might be me, Crrool, but doesn't the Chaos Shrine have more unrunnables?
I don't think so.
You have most of the dragons, the elementals.
Yeah, I mean, you have more, but they're less. But I think all of them are a lot less common, with the exception of like a few.
Yeah, that is true.
It's unrunnable for like 50% of your encounters.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of the difference between our strats, for every time he has to use Judgment 7, can use an elemental spell. It'll save me a few seconds. So that can add up a lot, depending on the amount of unrunnables he gets.
Well, I'm on 2 already, so
yeah, we're starting to get to the. Also, I have haste on my ninja as well, by the way. So
nice.
This my strats are paying off actually. It's because it's by no means guaranteed that your ninja will be a high enough level to get it, because it needs to be level 15 for it to learn haste, and yeah, that's by no means guaranteed. Teleport, and we're off to Onrak. Use a slightly different airship route, but it's well ingrained in my brain, luckily.
Right, 3 encounters before Rosetta Stone. 3 unrunnable encounters before Rosetta Stone. All big packs of Sahagins.
fun Sahagins.
Yeah, this is the Rosetta Stone. It's a required item that allows us to learn any language basically instantly. Now, another thing, we actually use the Black Mage, and you might be wondering what's the advantage of the Black Mage of the Red Mage? And that's this one spell right here. We now use Teleport to basically get back to floor 3 immediately, so we can go to the other end of the dungeon. Otherwise, we would have to walk back there, and that can lose quite a bit of time. And similarly, Teleport is going to be used in the next dungeon as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Teleport is useful. In all bosses you don't have Black Mage, but we use the exit spell on the White Mage instead, which teleports you outside of on-rack even.
Yeah, the exit is a little bit slower here, but there the extra character does make enough of a difference to compensate for it. Here a Red Mage or another ninja or something wouldn't.
Speaking of Sahagins,
yeah, I'm on number 4 right now.
I'm on the first one, but I have the gauntlets. Which you, by the way, also have. Because what I should explain, I have the Lordly Robes equipped on my White Mage shield slot. Now, you can't just equip everything on the shield slot, because Lordly Robes actually has a blocking animation, because if a character blocks an attack with something called the shield slot that doesn't have a blocking animation, the game will crash. So you can't just carelessly equip everything on there, but amongst others you can equip survival vests and Lordly Robes, and as well as ribbons on there. Ribbons we'll get to a little bit later.
Alright, so I'm about to get to the next equipment bit of the run. There's a chest in here. We're going to approach that chest from the right, because otherwise we are guaranteed to get an encounter on the way there, and we don't want that.
Spiked out.
But we get the light axe here, and we can use that to glitch ourselves some more items.
Fun fact, you can also pick up the item to glitch the ribbons early on in this dungeon. You can get it a little bit earlier. Still slightly slower, but it's a bit more safe, because you don't have to deal with the enemies in the next cave of potentially getting petrified and such. Go ahead.
Alright, I am getting really poor equipment here. I am really messing this up.
It's a frame perfect glitch, by the way, so it can be a bit finicky.
Yeah, and despite having practiced this many times and getting it every single time earlier as well, yeah, for some reason I just wasn't there. That was really, really sloppy. Oh well.
Starting to feel the heat?
A little bit, yeah.
Because I'm in the chasing position here. I am now obtaining the light axe, so I'll do a slightly different equipment menu here, because I'll be putting all survival vests on the shield slot and the armor slots of the Black Mage, and that is to ensure that my Black Mage is faster than the rest, and what that does, puts me in a perfect position to haste my characters.
So I'm still on the same floor. I have so far gotten 3 extra unrunnables. This sunken shrine is something else.
Okay, I'm done with the equipment glitching. Ah, there's the ghost. So I'll make use of my mage staff. I have all my 3 elemental items lined up, so right next to each other. So it's relatively quick menuing between the items for me. And I'm now on the Kraken floor.
Yeah, I am too, but somehow I went the wrong way somewhere, and I don't know how that happened.
Take a breather.
You know what? Okay, whatever. This will also get me where I need to be.
White shark, deep eyes. I'm almost at the Kraken.
Yeah, I'm heading there now as well. I messed up big time.
I hit the Kraken now, so I think I pulled ahead.
Yep. Not by much, but I'm hitting the Kraken now, so...
But from here on out, I have the item advantage.
Yes.
So, yeah, if we get unrunnables, I'm at an advantage due to the items.
Yeah, I had a really bad sunken shrine encounter-wise. My menu I screwed up, and then I kind of got lost on the last floor somehow. I was on the correct path, but a bit of a brain fart there. Anyway, Kraken's down. That is 3 crystals. What's your Kraken time?
108.54.
Okay, so we're 7 seconds apart.
Yeah.
let's just say all of that was just to make this a close race again. So we are basically tied.
Good guy Crrool waiting for his opponent. Lifespring Grotto. Have we mentioned what the bonus dungeons contain yet?
Not really, no.
Because the bonus dungeons, the elemental bonus dungeons actually contain bosses from later Final Fantasy games. Earthgift Shrine actually contains bosses from Final Fantasy III. The Hellfire... I forgot the name. Hellfire
Chasm is for Final Fantasy IV. Lifespring Grotto that we just saw is Final Fantasy V, and then Wellspring Cave is Final Fantasy VI.
Whisperwind Cove.
Whisperwind Cove, sorry.
That one I do know. Because Whisperwind Cove, it's the longest, but it's also a really cool bonus dungeon.
Yeah, so basically the way that many of these dungeons work is that you kind of get the floors in random order. So, for Whisperwind Cove, it's 40 floors, and only floors 10, 20, 30, and 40 are actually set. Everything else is random. Now, that is to say, the order is random. You will always get the same floors. The order is random, and for some of them, the spawn points are also random.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes the All Bosses dungeons really interesting to do.
It is very fun, but it's a bit of a long category. And the bosses from the later Final Fantasies also have remix versions of the boss OSTs. So, you know, it's really cool. Battle of the Big Bridge on Gilgamesh. Oh.
Oh, absolutely.
Any Final Fantasy fan is down for that. I'm almost at the end of this waterfall cave here.
Same.
And I see that the robot is about to block the chest. Yep! I did get the warp cube though. But I now need to wait for him to move.
Okay, so here we get the ribbon. And we're going to get the cube. Now, the idea with the ribbon is I'm going to glitch the ribbon into the weapon that comes with it. And then from that weapon, I then glitch more ribbons. We'll explain why the ribbons are so powerful in just a second.
Yeah, I only put ribbons on my warrior and ninja for now. I will be equipping the white mage and the black mage later, and that's because I want my white mage to deal with the unrunnables and my black mage to be faster than the rest of the party for the haste spell. Which...
So I basically got a perfect menu there to kind of redeem myself a little.
I only had one miss on that equipment glitch, so...
Yeah, same. Yeah, the thing with the ribbons is they give you 50% immunity from elemental damage, and they give you full resistance against all status effects, with the exception of instant death. So we can still be hit with instant death moves, but everything else we're now immune from.
I was a bit of a dum-dum, and I had to... You remember what I had with the Ogre Mages earlier? I had the same thing with a double Hellhound encounter just now.
Ooh. So yeah, we got to make a quick stop here in Melmond. This is to hand in the Rosetta Stone and learn Lufenian, which is what we need in order to get the Chime. We only have one crystal left right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Lufenia. There we get the Chime. That opens up a tower. And at the top of the tower, there's a teleport tile that will take us into the air dungeon, the flying fortress. And then once we have that crystal, we can make our way to the final boss.
Definitely.
Box, I don't know about you, but I think this might be a good time for the host to do some reads and whatnot.
Definitely.
So yeah, Argic, the floor is yours.
Hello. Yes, thank you. Did you just say you're coming up to the final boss already, by the way? What?
Nah.
Yeah, we're starting to get close.
You're too early. Oh, no, it's a very good run. You're doing well right now. I will say that we don't have anything coming in at the moment, but do not worry about that. I'm going to use this time to let you know. Do you know about Delfino Customs? They are a controller and console business located in England. They specialize in customization, modification, and repairs. And if you quote the code BSG 2021 on any orders up until the 25th of August, you can get £5 off your order. If you customize your controller cable with their special paracord service, £5 from that will also be donated to Mind. You can message them directly for all inquiries via their Twitter page at Delfino Customs.
And I do want to mention they have 3DSs as well. 3DSs.
I actually have a 3DS capture from them on the way, so...
Yeah, that's it's one of the very few places where you can get those right now.
I got the Chime.
Yeah, I highly agree with that. If you are ever planning on getting a 3DS capture card, you do not have a better time other than now, and Delfino Customs, highly recommended.
They also are relatively cheap, so...
Yeah, they're incredibly affordable for 3DS capture cards. It's less than what I bought from mine, and when I bought mine, they were still being made, so that's saying something.
Yeah, same for my other one. But I've ordered an old 3DS one. Anywho,
right.
I'm on the way back to the ship, so...
Same. So we went to Lufenia, we got the Chime there, and we are now making our way to Mirage Tower.
I'm almost at the lake.
I'm unfortunately being bombarded with random encounters on my way back, but...
Same, but I only 3 miniature zombies so far.
I think same.
Oh, and the sandworms. Hi. But I'm immune to them now, since I got the ribbons.
Yeah. Now that we have the ribbons, we're immune to earthquakes.
Because we in the waterfall cave, you also saw the pyrolist. They can do insta-death. They're the insta-death version of the cockatrices. Which is fun.
Yeah, the one advantage that we have right now is because we have so much more equipment, we are now faster, generally speaking, than them. So at least we get our run chance before they get a chance to do anything, which wasn't always guaranteed before.
Yeah, the survival vest is basically the best equipment we can equip on them somewhat. So yeah, we're well stacked. Nearly unstoppable, I might say. You also see the vampires in here. Vampire was a mini boss earlier, but vampire for some reason is only unrunnable if you have one of them in an encounter, but you can't encounter a single vampire encounter here. You can only encounter them in groups. As I defeat the blue dragon here.
Yep, I just entered Flying Fortress.
I'm one tile away because I got an encounter exactly a tile before it.
So yeah, this is that cool back and forth. I'm glad the race has been this close.
Yeah, we did get completely stomped into a one-sided race, so...
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely possible to happen. I'm kind of happy that it didn't. Yeah, the Flying Fortress is a fairly easy dungeon. Basically, every time we switch floor, the encounter chance gets reset to 0, and it's relatively low in this dungeon, so you usually don't get that many. Now, I should mention, once we hit floor 5, there is a very rare encounter that would be very exciting to get. The War Mech. It is the 1 in 64 encounter on that floor, and it is... It gives an insane amount of experience. Like, it would level everybody several times to defeat it. So it would be very hype. We don't need it. If we don't get that experience, it's fine. But it would be kind of cool if we see one of them.
Warmech. I am getting a few ambushes, so falling a bit behind.
Oh, that's air elementals.
Air elementals are runnable, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the Warmac floor now.
I'm on the zigzag floor, as I like to call it.
Nice. Alright, so this is Tiamat. He is the last guardian of a crystal. Once we defeat this guy, we get the last crystal, and we can move on to Chaos' Shrine. Now, Chaos' Shrine is not short, but it is the last dungeon in the game, so we are slowly closing in on the end here.
I should add, by the way, that the ribbons don't give you immunity to physical insta-death, because I just got a Mind Flayer, a Mind Flayer encounter, and it was painful.
Yeah, those are not fun.
I had to kill my warrior and thief, so I was really fearing it there for a second, not gonna lie.
I can imagine. Yeah, the Mind Flayer both has Mind Blast, which is petrifies the members and is also not affected by the ribbons, and it can instant death you through physical hits. So.
I did get an encounterless Tiamat floor though.
Nice. Yeah, I got one, just the air elementals. No Warmac, but
maybe I'll get it on the way out, but
that could still happen. So this is that Whisperwind Cove we mentioned opening up.
Also, I should add, I am using haste on my ninja with the black mage here, because I only have 2 characters using barbarian sword, and with a hasted ninja, Tiamat should go down with 1 round, and because my black mage is always faster due to the 4 survival vest that I equipped. And with that, 4 elemental fiends down.
Yep, it is now on for us to the final dungeon of the game, and if you've been around here since the start, you might actually recognize that dungeon in a moment, because we have been there before.
We're actually well on pace to go underestimate, I think.
Yeah, this should be safely underestimate. So this is Chaos' Shrine, the very first dungeon in the game that we went into. And this is where we're going to make our way to the final boss.
There are some dangers hidden in that dungeon.
Yeah, this dungeon is not safe. There's definitely not... very, very bad things could happen here. Also, a lot of unrunnables here as well. This and the waterfall... Or not waterfall, Sunken Shrine are definitely the 2 that can have a lot of them.
The first floor, which you'll pass through twice, is the more dangerous floor encounter-wise, I would like to say.
Alright, so this place can... here's the White Dragon. White dragons are scary.
Goblins came to say hi to me.
And here we have the unrunnables of this floor, the purple worm.
The purple worms are nice, though. I'm always glad to see the purple worms, because they give a ton of experience. So if you're gonna get an unrunnable, you want the purple worms. Because you can relatively easily deal with them.
Yeah, they're rarely with more than, like, 3, so...
Okay.
Okay, first boss here, and this is kind of the small boss, the Death Eye. Now, at the very start of the game, we got the loot, and that'll open up this. Now, in the NES version, you weren't actually always going to get that. You could actually miss the loot and then get stuck at this place. Luckily, in the later versions, they made it impossible to miss.
Yeah,
I think in PSX it might also be impossible, or it might also be possible to miss. But in GBA and PSP, you can't miss it.
Yeah, on the PSX I'm not too sure. I'll be honest, but on the GBA you can't miss it. I'm also getting closer to the dead eye, but first we're encountering the green dragons, also unrunnable.
Yeah, that means I'm getting dragon zombies. Alone, they're unrunnable. With vampires, they are runnable.
Dragon zombies, however, can drop mega elixirs.
Yes, and that's a very, very useful item.
Not as much in this category, but still useful when you get it.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not as it's better in the in some of the other categories, but it can make healing up very quick.
Yeah, well,
the Mega Elixir basically heals your entire party's HP and MP to full at once.
Yeah, for this category I would use it to heal before the Chaos fight.
Yeah, that's generally where it's used.
So, I'm getting the one encounter I have to use the Judgment Staff for. The Ice Chaos Winter Wolf. Always fun when I get those. Because they're a bit sturdy. Although the extra levels I don't mind, because with a little bit of luck my Black Mage might actually have decent HP.
So yeah, before we actually get to Chaos, we have a few refights we need to do. All of these elemental fiends, they're going to show up again, but in a more powerful form. So the first here is the Lich. And this Lich has Flare, which is a little scary. Luckily, he didn't get it off.
I'm in much more danger against Lich, although against Lich I will also use the haste threats I use against Tiamat, so that should also one-round him, but it's a bit of a range, unfortunately. The fire element, the floor containing Merilith and fire-themed enemies is relatively free. No real dangers there.
No, this place is generally fairly easy. I did get the rare fire elemental, though.
Unrunnable. The good news is my thief is in the right spot, 271 HP, which is in general okay. Black Mage is at 191 HP, which is not quite there.
My lowest is my ninja at 234, so
yeah,
that's not bad. Not an amount where it's fully safe or anything, but generally you do want your characters to be above 200. Earlier on, we picked up Giant's Tonics, which can increase our total health for one fight. I'm going to be using that later on to make the Chaos fight more manageable. But on turn 1, if he does a powerful AoE, and you don't have them, if you got really low rolls all the time, then it can one-shot you, and it can really delay the fight by a lot.
I mean, there's worse things that Chaos can do. I didn't get the haste off first, so I'm open for an attack from Lich. Oh, he physical attacks. Nice! That's fine, no problem. No flare spell in my face, so...
That's always good.
Yeah,
So this is the Kraken floor. This is the one where you're most likely to get an unrunnable encounter, probably, because there's a lot of water elementals here. So far, I've been lucky in not actually getting them, though.
Don't jinx yourself.
Oh, no, I didn't get them. I did get an 8 encounter ambush instead, though.
Like I mentioned, don't jinx yourself.
Yup.
Same principle. I'm at Merilith right now.
Yeah, I'm now starting the Kraken fight.
Yeah, I'm one
So this
floor.
difference, depending on the encounter rate, could be less than a minute here, which can definitely still change on the final boss.
Yeah, Chaos can basically instantly end the fight if he goes for the white mage.
Yeah, and my fastest from Merilith to Kraken is like 52 seconds, so it is potentially still, or it's definitely still in a range where this race could still go either way. One floor is not a lot in this game.
I mean, the floors are relatively quick from here on out. I got the water elementals, but I'll have the black rope to deal with. It's basically the last unrunnable I really have to worry about. And with a little bit of luck, it puts my black mage in the right position. Okay, my ninja is at 296 HP, which is good.
That's really high.
So it's mostly my black, and I have haste as well on my ninja. I should not forget that, by the way.
Yep, yeah. This is why I said this can still go either way, even with how or like it's close. All right. So here we do one more equipment glitch.
I have to do more equipment glitches at Chaos as well.
Almost forgot to ether my white mage. That'd be kind of bad.
I got a gold split on Merilith earlier, by the way.
Nice. I haven't had any golds this run, but I've had some decent splits for sure. All right, so this is the final boss of the game. You might remember him. This is Garland. The very first boss of the game and also the very last boss of the game. But we have now traveled 2,000 years back in time to stop him here, and he's way more powerful here than he is in present day. By the way, this game has something about time travel.
It does.
Okay. So, no, let's do this.
Poison gas shouldn't do anything. Oh, it does, actually. That was some really low damage rolls on that turn. 3-turn Tiamat. Was so close to
Alright, turn 1 Blaze. So Chaos has a few things he can do. He has really long animation spell attacks, like that one. He can also do physical attacks, which we honestly much prefer, because their animations are a lot shorter.
Let's see. I need to do close.
Get ready on. But when this boss flashes white, that's when time is, by the way. So do get ready on that.
Golden staff. Ribbon. Barbarian swords. Okay. I have my setup done. Item equipment wise, I should add, and I'm entering the chaos fights. So
Okay. So yeah, get ready for box as well. I'm done setting up on chaos, so I should have a clean fight from here.
yeah, you should be fine from me on that.
Yeah.
Giant Stonic on the Black Mage, Haste on... I'll let the Ninja haste himself, and Haste on the Warrior.
So yeah, get ready on time for me. It should be probably the next turn. Of course, he gets a Cyclone in before then. Yeah, if my count is correct, the ninja should kill it here.
1700. 2800.
Time.
GG.
GG.
Okay, I've done my setup as well, so
Yeah, so box is like a
42.
minute away as well.
57, 7000. So it's hold X to win for me as well. So
Yeah, Chaos has 20,000 HP. That's what
97.
box is counting for.
That is 11,000. So only 9,000 more to go. The thief coming in clutch. 12, 600, 13, 8, 15, 1, 53 ish. Let's see. Get ready. 16, 8, 18, 2. Next turn attack, one first or second attack does it. Time. 1:34:30 on my end.
Nice. Within a minute and a half of each other, so definitely a close race. That was fun. Thank you for joining me for this box. I'm sorry to see that you're, or that you know, you've not been able to increase your win streak finally.
I mean, this is about as good as I can expect from FF1 to be roughly a minute apart. So
yeah, exactly. So,
the one time I won, it was a 1:30 or something, which is also an incredibly good time as well. So it's
yeah, and I mean, we were tied on like many occasions because I think. We tied on like the Earth Rod, and then we tied again around Kraken, and again around the Blue Dragon. So anyway, I don't really have that much more to say.
I have one thing to say.
Sure, go ahead.
I want to give a few shout-outs. I want to give shout-outs to FF1 for FF1 community, cool community, lovely people. Working their butts off on the Pixel Remaster right now, but I definitely want to give a very special shout out to my race partner here, because he inspired me to pick this game up, and it started opened up the world of RPG speedruns to me, and that means a lot to me. It's an honor to race you, and. Yeah, you definitely inspired me to strive for better. I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. All right, I think with that we can probably head off.
Definitely.
Well, I just want to say as well, thank you very much for that awesome race. As you pointed out, you had so many back and forwards between both of you. It's like you kept mentioning, it ain't over until it's over. And we got two fantastic Chaos fights there at the end of that. But yes, we are going to head off and get ourselves set up for our next run. Now, we're going to have Double coming up with Disney's Tarzan Untamed. But do not panic. We are going to do a quick stream reset as well. Should be the last of the event, but we will be right back. Don't post picnic baskets, but I sense picnic baskets on the horizon. All right, we will be back in a couple of minutes with more BSG Annual 2021 at home.